So we had an absolute day of carnage. That was yesterday, specifically in the Magnificent Seven, right? Within the top stocks within the S&P 500. We had NASDAQ marking down as well aggressively towards the downside. And the question remains, will Bitcoin hold up, right? That's what we're going to be having a look at in today's shows. We have seen what some are labeling as a decoupling, right? We've seen some differences over there where Bitcoin actually managed to hold up over the course of yesterday. But you know it's bad when you see the stock market look like this. You know it's bad when you see the DXY dropping this aggressively and crypto and stocks catch absolutely zero bid. That shows you money moving out of the US, right? Of course, everything to do with the tariff wars, which are currently going on across all of the world. That's been the theme for at least the last month. We have a lot of important things to look at. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel because, of course, as you can see today, I am on the Crypto Live channel, and you have at least half of the other people sitting and waiting on the Crypto Banter main channel. Can you believe it? When there's literally a thumbnail, as usual, that says, go to this channel. So let them know, let your friends know on the other side to come over onto this channel. Guys, smash the like button because it helps to get the show content out. And then hopefully they realize that we're live on this channel today, right? So how bad was the stock market decline? Well, if you have a look at the 11,406 trading days since January 1980, well, we've only had 28 or 29 days that have been larger in terms of decline, right? So 29 previous days that were larger in terms of decline, but the crypto market actually holding up relative to what the stock market has done, right? Of course, it's a sea of red on the weekly, it's a sea of red on the monthly, and the yearly as well, for the most part, is down, right? But in terms of the shorter term, you are starting to get a little bit of a bounce over here. I know a lot of people are going to be constantly trying to buy the bottom. So I'd actually love to know your thoughts. Do you think that the Bitcoin is bottoming roundabout here? Not necessarily to say this is the exact wick low or bottom, that the bottom's already in, but let me know in the poll section over there, do you think Bitcoin is bottoming out here? Give or take, like give it like, you know, couple of days. In the next couple of days, do you think we find a bottom over here? I'd love to know your thoughts, and let me know in the comments, will you be buying, right? Are you buying? Are you deploying? I'm trying to gauge the sentiment to see what the rest of you guys are doing. So drop in the comments over there. Are you guys buying? Yes or no? Drop a yes or no in the comment section. Let's quickly see. I'll wait for that to come through, and then let's continue, right? So while we wait for that to tick over, some of you say hanging in, bottom's already in. Let me know in the comments. Let's get some of that in. 200x at 50K. So you're waiting for 50K. You say yes, buying, no, no, yes, yes. So kind of like mixed signals over here. Interesting. Cool. No, no, not yet. All right. Your trades are flying. So all over the place over here in terms of the comments. What's interesting is if you actually have a look at the other times that the stock market has gone down significantly, you know, in relation to this tweet over here, where we're in like the top 30 down days, what you can do is you can have a look using Grok. This is a tweet that I saw over here, and pretty much when the S&P 500 went down 6.6% in 2011, Bitcoin went down 13%. In 2020, it went down 7.6%. Bitcoin went down 8.5%. Or 8.45%. In March, it went down 9.51%, whereas Bitcoin went down almost 40%, right? Then March 2020, a couple of days later, so that's March the 12th, March the 16th, you had the stock market go down 11.98%, and Bitcoin went down 5.2%. So you could see Bitcoin in that instance on those last legs down, pretty much bottoming out before the stock market and leading the next move towards the upside. So leading the dump, also leading the pump. And then you had the 11th of June, 2020, 5.89% down, Bitcoin down 5.7%. And then we look at what happened yesterday, right, which was pretty interesting. You had S&P down 4.8%, and we had Bitcoin down 0.79%. So a possible deviation, something different happening over there. Now, can mean a couple of things, right? Bulls are stubborn, or Bitcoin is bottoming first and the worst is over. I'll let you be the judge of what you think comes next. We have not yet seen extreme fear and panic in the crypto market, because that's usually met by people putting their money where their mouth is in the form of shorting the market aggressively. And then we typically see negative funding. Then the funding has been neutral, right? Neutral to even positive throughout this, which means people are still trying to buy the dip. And that's why I ask you that question. That's why I pose that question to you guys in the audience. Are you buying the dip, or have you been buying the dip? Yes or no? Now, this is an environment you need to be really, really careful in. And the reason that I say that is because this is telling you that most people probably are still trying to buy the dip and still trying to call the bottoms. And this is typical, right? The same way that the market cascaded through the upside over here and everybody kept trying to exit at a local high or sell the top to reload lower, and unsuccessfully so they now are trying to do the opposite of that, which is buy the dip at what may essentially be the start of a downtrend. And that's what you need to be really, really careful of, right? They may constantly be trying to buy the dip and you may cascade down like that. And then, they underwater, basically price comes back to break even. Consequently, they bail out. And that's what leads into those downtrends. Now, I'm not saying that's happening yet. I'm just saying that you need to be really, really cautious. And I still believe it's better to wait for the reclaim of some key levels, protect your capital, be safer in terms of your entry. But what we can say is that, yes, I mean, this has been pretty extreme, right? The stock market sell-off has also been pretty extreme. And how much further down could the stock market go? Well, we've identified that. We said probably in the region of about another 10-11% downside before finding major support. So I am monitoring the VIX as well, the volatility index for the S&P 500. When this thing expands aggressively towards the upside, it shows panic coming into the market and people are panicking out of their stock market positions, and the S&P 500 usually crashes, find some sort of a local bottom, and these major buy the dip opportunities are found when you spike. I've given an early entry. I put it at 37 over here because I put an alarm and an alert on there to notify me to prepare and get ready. But for the most part, it's when it hits that 50 region, right? When the VIX hits 50, usually you're in that bottoming process, and we haven't yet hit that. In fact, it's only at 30, and this can be quite a scary sign, right? That's why I say be careful trying to call the bottom every step along the way. There is a chance that the bottom could fall out. The notable difference is this, right? Yes, this is a notable difference that yesterday the stock market went down almost 5% and Bitcoin was up almost 1%, right? That is a notable change, but is it enough to call it decoupling? Guys, come on, absolutely not. There's no way. There's no way you can call it decoupling. I mean, we looked yesterday at things like this. This is Bitcoin correlation to the QQQ, which is the NASDAQ, and it's literally almost a one-to-one correlation, meaning it follows pretty exact. This has absolutely not decoupled. For it to have decoupled, you need to see it hanging around, below this negative 0.5 to -1 level for prolonged periods of time. There's no way that you can call it decoupling yet, right? So as per the 𝗂𝗡𝗥 letter over here, in case you're wondering if capitulation has occurred, you may ask yourself, has the stock market capitulated? Well, the S&P 500 closed negative 4.8% today, and the volatility index at the time of this post remained below 30. Right now, yes, we hit the 30 mark, but for the most part, it's remained below 30. And there's never been a day in history with a 4.5% drop in the S&P 500 without the VIX going above 30. Selling, therefore, has been orderly and controlled, and therefore, bears are in control. Simple as that, right? Bears are in control at the moment. And, our analysis has been really, really, really good. So I'm very, very proud of that. Congratulations to all of you who followed along. It's not all me. You guys keep me accountable, but it's been spot on, right? Bearish divergence on the stock market. We identified that. We said things are getting serious when you start to break the structure over here. We already called that over here, right? As soon as we started to break that structure over there in the circled area, that's where trouble started to set in. Lost that daily level over there, and pretty much price cascaded down, tested as underside resistance over there, and led to the next markdown phase. And yes, could the major support over here be front run? Absolutely. You could find some sort of a bottom over here. But again, it's better to wait for strong support to be found, which would actually be the $50-200 region, or alternatively for strength to come into the market. Like, it's very rare that something's going to change all of a sudden. And that's what I told you over here. I literally said it over and over and over and over again. Everyone was getting uber excited on this green candle over here. And I said, I think it's wishful thinking to think you're going to get a W formation and a V-shaped recovery out of there. Wishful thinking. And as you can see, it was wishful thinking because now you've cascaded down. And this is what happens when everybody constantly tries to try and call the bottom and buy the dip each and every time. There's the QQQ playing out the bear flag. Full TP comes in, still lower, right? Still lower. If we have a look over here, we'll have to wait for the market open later on today. And it's going to be interesting how things play out over the course of the weekend for crypto. But that's another 7% down, right? Yesterday was 11%. Now we've played out 7 of that, 5 of that percentage region, 4%, 5% downside yesterday alone on the QQQ. So we're looking at about another 7% down to reach our final target over there and major support. And the yellow line is bounce area 1, next yellow line bounce area 2, key major significant support at 400. But I won't wait for that, right? Okay, cool. For those of you yesterday who went and followed the Whale Room Discord, we did do the first giveaway. So congratulations. There it is. You got your first month for free. That's the first one. There is going to be more coming out, right? Close to a dozen more giveaways. So if you haven't already, go through to the Whale Room Trades Twitter account over here, follow the X account, and keep an eye out, right? That's all you have to do. Just follow it, keep an eye out. First come, first serve. As the code drops, whoever's paying attention, pretty much, you'll get a free entry into Whale Room. So let's continue. Looking at this chart over here, nothing has changed. This is our high time frame guide, and it is very bearish, right? Very bearish. We need to wait 1 day, 18 hours left to go. If this closes red, well, it's going to be increasingly bearish. But right now, that's looking like a clear rejection from the place where you would expect a rejection to take place. And your bullish hopium is in the form of a falling wedge formation, which, yes, it could break out from here, but then you need to get back above Wednesday's wick high, right? You need to get above Wednesday's wick high to invalidate the bearish thesis and to flip bullish. And I'm feeling very comfortable, right? Because remember, we exited all the way at the top here before the breakdown. And that means that I told you it might be uncomfortable to start off with as the trend starts to get established towards the downside. But that's going to create a lower and lower validation point for us, right? For us to get long again, to validate the long thesis or to invalidate the short thesis. Previously, our validation meant that we would have had an opportunity cost needed to get above $95,000. That was the opportunity cost, right? Right now, there is no opportunity cost. We have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain by just simply waiting for a safe entry. So for those of you who followed along, absolute well done. Pretty much still waiting for either support at 72K or for a break of structure by reclaiming some of these high levels. Based on where we are, our initial exit, we have absolutely nothing to lose. So we're in a very good position. There's a little bit of liquidity overhead. I'm going to say the same thing that I said on, I think it was on Monday. I told you the liquidity overhead was at $88,000, but it could be short-lived where you just spike into that, and that's exactly what happened. Price spiked into that 88K region and immediately rejected. And I'd say the same thing over here. Don't get too excited. If price does spike up into $84,000, it could easily just be another lower high and continuation down. Volume is still diminishing. It did rise a little bit, ever so slightly, but the broader trend of this overall downtrend is lower lows and lower highs on the volume, and prices cap below all the moving averages. And in fact, your 200 EMA is actually starting to roll over and angle towards the downside. If the 200 EMA, which is the dark blue one, does exactly that, that will also not be a good sign, right? You saw it temporarily over here, but you don't want it to turn down aggressively like we've seen in the stock market, right? Remember, the stock market has already done this turn, and that's the cause for concern, right? There you go. You got the downsloping of those EMAs. You can look at Tesla as well. You know, the MA200 is turning down. Dow Jones MA200 is starting to angle down. NVIDIA MA200 is starting to angle down. So these things need to turn, otherwise there is major trouble ahead, right? But we are in the presence of a bear moon, which I told you has a high accuracy rate. So I would be looking to hopefully buy some sort of a dip in the course of the next week, and then we're going to play that towards the upside. I do want to participate in the relief rally, right? The relief rally will be absolutely massive. You could easily see, let's just say hypothetically, we get our move down into this low region over here. You know, you could easily see a relief rally into, you know, 100K, somewhere around there. You could see a relief rally like that. That would be a beautiful move to participate in, right? And, you know, that could even turn into a swing trade if that is actually a major bottom. That's a 35% move. Altcoins will do like 60%, right? It'll be good. Really nice, profitable, easy trades that we can take over there. So I'm looking to capitalize on that very soon. But I'm still going to remain a trader, right? Traders paradise, investors hell. That is the theme of 2025. So if you want to be a trader, jump onto Blowfin, get your $10,000 sign-up bonus. Of course, it depends on how much you deposit. You can see over here, if you are an existing user already and you deposit more than $500, you'll get $100 future bonus. If you haven't already joined and you deposit just $50, they'll give you $30 bonus. $300, they'll give you $100 bonus. So you're getting about a 33 to 66% sign-up bonus for signing up to Blowfin. No KYC, which is beautiful, right? No KYC required over there. All right, 7-day daily exchange volume still trending towards the downside. Very, very recently, it started to tick up, right? Because the volumes have been super, super low. So there is money coming onto exchanges, but it's very minuscule. We do want to see this base out somewhere around the bottom over here. So let's see. We'll see if we get those prices. I do think that it's possible that Bitcoin does find a major bottom, at least pre a relief rally in the coming days and weeks, right? We have the USDT dominance, which is still more in an uptrend than anything. We showed some weakness within this region over here locally, but for the most part, in the higher time frame, this is just trending towards the upside, right? With the main target in mind at about that 6.24%. Okay, Solana unlocks 200 million of SOL being unlocked. I think that is now tomorrow. Would they unlock on a weekend? I don't know. I don't think so. So it's probably being unlocked. Yes, the 4th of April, which is today. It's getting unlocked today. 200 million worth of SOL being unlocked today. I mean, it could be troublesome, right? We can actually have a look over here. I'm curious. Well, most of it's going to be wash trading, so I'm not going to even look at those volumes. But just know we're in a low volume environment, right? A very low volume environment. So if these guys did come and they decided that they wanted to exit this position, that could cascade SOL down. And SOL still looks bearish, right? Until such time, pretty much now you can just use, again, the same as Bitcoin, Wednesday high. Or this one is Thursday high, right? Thursday. Wait, I'm on the 4-hour time frame, so that was confusing. Let's go back onto the daily. There it is. Let's go on the daily. If you can get back, that is correct, above Wednesday high, then there's an opportunity where you can call this Solana trade a deviation back into the trading range. And you could theoretically say, oh, maybe a double bottom, and you start to look for long trades. Until then, if you're below Wednesday's high, which Wednesday's high came in at a price level of $136.21, it's bearish. Below that, it's bearish, and expect that it's probably going to move down towards about 77 to 80. Okay, cool. So that's what we're looking at over there on Solana. How's Sui looking? Still chopping about over here. Maybe also you might get some sort of a sweep of the previous month's low. We did cover that yesterday. Let's see Hype quickly. Hype tracking down towards that $8 to $9 region, depending on when it hits. But this is the only TA level that we have to work with, is the parallel channel, right? I mean, maybe you can angle it ever so slightly like that, and you can say in that instance it's $10. But I'd rather go with the more conservative entry, which is going to be about $9. Okay, bear chain on its way down. Sonic, this is an interesting chart. It's super volatile. If Bitcoin does go risk off, I could easily see the sweeping the lows at about 35 cents. But if Bitcoin does hold up over here, since the so-called deviation away from what happened in the stock market yesterday, and it does put in a bit of a risk on move, of course, then that's probably going to be our next major high low. Okay, so that is on Sonic. What else do we have? How's TON doing? I haven't looked at TON for a very, very, very long time. TON key support, major support. It did wick into that. That's at 230. So I guess strong invalidation below 230. If you are looking for any longs, there is a fair value gap over here as well, right? You have to have big cojones to be longing in this type of market while the stock market's doing all these things. But nevertheless, there's the level, right? That's the level that you're looking for. And you can mark into the midline, $3, right? 312, somewhere around there, give or take. That's your fair value gap. So watch for, that's a little bit of a trade idea, right? If this low does hold, which lines up with a beautiful horizontal, if you look left, then you're looking for something like that. Hold that level, form your high low over there, and maybe there's an opportunity. Okay, cool. All right, so we've covered that. What else do we have? ETH BTC still tanking over here. We'll see if we get any sort of a knee-jerk reaction out of the zone. But as it currently stands, there has been no breakup structure. Your earliest point of things changing over here, that's still going to be underside resistance. But if you can break above that 0.0238 on the ETH BTC chart, maybe it will look okay. Okay, so let me know in the comments, what are you guys going to be doing? Are you buying, or have you got no more money left to deploy? I hope not. I hope that you guys who follow me have followed along and done what I've done and you've been safe. Right? I tell you what to do. I'm just simply sharing my journey and sharing exactly what I'm doing. And most of the time it's right. Sometimes I can be wrong in maybe the shorter term, but I hope that you guys are okay. So holding for now, you guys say. Let's see what else. Saving forever. Okay, let me know what else, guys. If there's anything you want to look at, let me know as well. Are you in or out of the markets? Okay, stay safe out there. By the way, for those of you that don't already have a VPN, check out NordVPN. They are one of the sponsors of the channel. A lot of people are still getting hacked. You know, you find when the market goes down, more and more things go wrong and people get hacked more and more. This protects your IP address for less than $3, right? $3 a month. It's very, very, very cheap. You're paying that price for a cappuccino. You should at least pay that to protect your capital. So there's a link in the description below for that. Okay, also, let's have a look at this quickly. Let's look at Velo charts. Let's go on to just in the short term, like the 15-minute, see what's going on over here. I mean, this is the crazy part, right? You can still see the aggregate funding rate is positive, showing that longs are still building. Longs are building. Open interest is coming down ever so slightly, and that's why the longs dropped off. But this has mostly been a buildup of longs. Let's see on the hourly what that looks like. You know, more or less the same. What about on the 4-hour time frame? Okay, still longs, right? What about on the daily? Okay, slightly positive on the funding over there. And that's what I was saying, right? The funding is neutral to positive. It's not negative, which means that the psychology of the masses hasn't actually taken the stance of actually physically exiting or short selling the market. Usually when the masses start to short sell in retail sense, which this is what that tracks because it's looking at, you know, across all the various different exchanges like OKX, Binance, Bybit, etc., where retail traders do trade. Then when they flip short, that's usually where you want to take the opposite side of the trade at the extremities. So the extremities can be found by looking for key supports like 70K region with negative funding over there. That becomes a strong sign. Right now, remember, it's boring. We're still in the middle of no man's land. And there's no need to constantly try and pick a bottom, right? Hated rally incoming, you say. It is possible, but you need to be patient and wait for the trigger, right? Of course, there will eventually be a hated rally, but you have to wait for the trigger. You need to also see the masses come onto the opposite side of the trade. And that's one thing that we can utilize. When the funding is very, very negative, that's where you get the hated rally, right? And I can literally show that to you on the chart. If you look over here, this is where Bitcoin came down to 49K. Look at that. Just after Bitcoin hit the 49K, look at that. There it is. I circled it. Let's expand this a little bit. Expand that. Just after, where was the funding? It was positive, right? So Bitcoin bottomed. And then the masses came and they were like, you know what? This is bearish because I just got shaken out of my position over there. I'm going to short this to 0. So the funding goes negative. And that's what drives the hated rally. We're not at that phase yet, right? I guess we could get there, but we've seen a little bit of negative funding. We'll see. Maybe that's enough. I mean, you got the similar type of negative funding over here, which drove the move up. Price action leads everything. So you need to wait for the price action to showcase, which is very easy. Now you just look for a reclaim of Wednesday high. If you reclaim and close above Wednesday high, then maybe that was enough. I'd prefer to see more. I want to see them get like mega bearish. I want to see them shorting so much that the funding goes incredibly negative while we simultaneously test that fair value gap at that 72 to 73K level. That's what I would love to see. You don't always get the perfect setup, right? Trading requires a little bit more fluidity than that. But it's something to watch for, right? Pay attention. Pay attention in class, right? Don't lose focus over here because these are very, very, very important times, right? Cool. How long have we been live for? It's 23 minutes. I will do a show tomorrow as well, just to let you guys know. That is going to be on the main banter channel. So please do go and have a look over there. Drop your comments after the show to let me know if there is anything specific that you want to have a look at. David says, I wouldn't be surprised for $50,000. Of course, it's possible. I don't want to get too bearish because I want to just take it level to level, right? How do you get to $50,000? It won't be in a straight line. I'm telling you, very, very, very high probability if price were to fall into the 60K region, that is going to elicit a bounce. You will not go to 50K without first putting in a massive bounce from this pink box, right? Between, 58 and 66K, like within this zone over here, first you would put in an absolutely enormous bounce. And then if you're going to hit 50K, then you're going to break down in a big way. But I mean, at that point, you have to call it basically the bull market is over, right? Because from high, I mean, let's go high to low over here. This has been relatively orderly in the sense that we've had a 30% correction. Right now, from high to current levels is 24%. I would prefer to see this, right? That would be nice. 40%, like that's kind of where things get a bit sketchy and scary. People will start absolutely shivering in their pants, right? 40%, 45%, that's what I want to see. But, once you start to hit that, 50K region, you had like a 55% correction. It is possible, but remember ultimately the bear market lows are usually going to be like that 70 to 80%. So 70% takes you down to like 30K, which would be into this key support. That would have been like the worst bull market ever, if that's all that we got. So I'm not really worried about that stuff, right? I would say, I'd keep the bull market hopes alive until such time as the pink zone is lost. So if bulls can defend this pink zone and you can grind into this, bull market hope still alive, possible for a beautiful bounce and rally. But there are concerns. If you watch all my shows on the other channel, of course, I've highlighted those things. You have high time frame momentum oscillators like the RSIs, as well as the MACDs on the 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, and the monthly, which is about to turn red, right? Up to the 3 week, it's all started to turn bearish and turn over. And that usually has marked the cycle top. So we need to be careful, right? This is why traders paradise, investors hell, stay safe, right? Be careful out there. Take it week by week, day by day, and just trade the chart that's in front of you. Right now, the chart in front of me says, don't go long until you reclaim Wednesday high or until you hit lower support levels like $72,000 or maybe even slightly below. So that's it. That's what we're waiting for. It's as simple as that. We'll see if we get it over the coming days, weeks, and probably not months, but days and weeks. I'll catch you all on the next one. I hope you have a stellar day. Remember, go follow the Whale Room Twitter account over there so that you can get in for absolutely free. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day, everyone, and cheers.